Good morning, everybody. It's your friend and brother Derek Day coming to you once again with your everyday encouragement. And today is Wisdom Wednesday. And one of the things that we need to be wise about is how we handle things. And so today I want to talk about toxicity, because toxicity is something that you have to deal with. You have to deal with it in the natural, and you have to deal with it in the physical. You have to deal with it in the natural, in the air you breathe, and the food you eat, and the water you drink, and places you go, and all of these things, right? But in the spiritual, there are people, places, things, and situations that can potentially be toxic, and you need to be wise about dealing with these things. Now, first of all, I want to talk about toxic places. Not every place is for you. There's a statistic that says that the average person never lives further than 25 miles from their place of birth. And that's really tragic in a lot of cases, because sometimes your blessing is not tied to where you're born. Sometimes your blessing may be halfway around the world or completely around the world. And you have to have wisdom to know that if you stay where you are, that toxicity of that place may be your birthplace, but it may be toxic to you. I have a thing about where I grew up. I grew up in Detroit, and I don't have anything against Detroit per se. I grew up there, and I'm a loyal Detroiter, but I don't go back to Detroit on social calls anymore. Why? Because Detroit represents Egypt to me. There are some things about Detroit that are toxic to me. I'm saying to Derek. It may not be to anybody else. So I had to leave. In order for me to prosper, in order for me to attain the things that I wanted to attain in life and do the things that I wanted to do in life, I had to get out. That's me. But you have to be aware of that if the place that you're in is toxic to you, then you have to consider leaving. The second thing is toxic situations. If it's a toxic situation, the best thing to do is to just simply avoid it. Don't get mired down in toxic situations. They will come. But the thing is that one of two things has to happen. If you see it coming, avoid it. Detour. God gives you avenues of escape, right? So take those avenues. But if you happen to wind up going through it, just remember you're going through it and you're not stuck in it. So that's situations. The next thing are things. People get attached to things. Listen, there's an old saying that says, love people and use things, and not vice versa. See, people are used to using people and loving things. You don't want to love anything that becomes toxic in your life. This is how people get wound up in or get caught up in addictions or addictive behaviors. They get caught up in drugs or alcohol, pornography, things like that, because they wind up they think of people as a thing to be used and not a thing to be loved. And the last thing that I want to talk about are toxic people. Toxic people are everywhere. Somebody wrote recently that, you don't. People say they don't go to church because of the hypocrites in church, but you go to the club because they're hypocrites in the club, or they're hypocrites at your job. But guess what? At the club, at least you're getting entertained, and if you're going to work, at least you're getting paid. So what are you going to, if you're going to church and you find hypocritical people, well, you're not getting paid there, and you're not getting entertained there. And the church is supposed to be a place of healing and helping, and not condescending judgment and hurt. So if you're going there and there are hypocrites there, yeah, get out, leave, simple. And there's nothing wrong with that. God is not mad at you for doing that. Okay, but here's the thing. The first thing that you want to deal with, the very first thing that you want to do with a toxic person is love them. You have to let them know that they are loved. You have to let them know that they are valued. Let them know that they are appreciated. Let them know that they have a place in the world. You cannot just simply dismiss people. That is a mistake, because a lot of times we have the opportunity to demonstrate the love of Christ to people, and we don't. Because because we dismiss them. We just simply say, oh, well, the heck with you. No, you have to at least take the time to let them know that they're loved. Now, if you tell them that they're loved and you're demonstrating love to them, you're manifesting, expressing, exercising love to them, and they don't receive it, well, at that point, that's when you have to, kind of shake the dust off and move on, because you don't want to get caught up in a situation where toxic people are holding you down. But you have to take time to love them first. I mean, this is so absolutely critically important. You have to take time to love them. And if they don't receive the love, if they don't perceive the love, if they're not acknowledging the love, if they're not trying to embrace the love, then you have to move on. And the reason why, see, I'm talking about toxicity because toxicity means poisonous, right? And you cannot stay in the presence of poison and expect to survive. That, I don't care how brave you are. I don't care how strong you are. I don't care, how you think you get it going on. Listen, poison will kill you. You can sit up and drink arsenic all you want, but guess what? Eventually, that's going to take you out. You just can't do it. You cannot continuously breathe carbon dioxide and expect that you'll live. You have to get out of toxic environments. So, to wrap this up, right? Toxic people, love them. Toxic situations, avoid them. Toxic things, drop them. And toxic places, leave them. That's real simple. That's how you deal with toxicity. But again, the most important thing, the most important takeaway from this is toxic people, love them. Let them know, because a lot of times when you love somebody, you will love the toxin right out of them. Do you realize that in a lot of cases, and this has happened to me, there are people that they were just like completely toxic to me. There was a guy that I worked with back in Detroit, that this guy was just absolutely, he was just absolutely mean to me. But I constantly reminded him, hey man, you're a good guy. I don't know why you're doing that. And to this day, this guy and I are really amazingly good friends, because I love the toxicity out of him. Sometimes God sends you as the antidote. God sends you to inoculate toxic people, to get the toxins out of them. Man, that will bless you. That will absolutely bless you. So that's what I have for you today. This is your Wisdom Wednesday. If you have any questions, comments, gripes, torches, pitchforks, whatever, hit me up at www.derekday.com and the /contact or the contact page. Or you can hit me up at www.facebook.com/Derek Day Ministries. You can also reach me on Twitter or Instagram. My handle is the @Derek E. Day. That's DERRICKEDAY. You can also catch the videos on YouTube. Hundreds, over 400. I think we're coming up on 500 videos now that help you walk in the liberty of God's unconditional love and unlimited grace. And we also have podcasts that you can download, put on your phone or your iPad or iPod or your, whatever device you have, and you can listen to these teachings over and over and over again. You can get them on iTunes or Google Play. It's called the Agape Dominion Podcast. So that's what I have for you today. And as always, God loves you. And I don't care how toxic you think you are. God loves you. God loves you. And guess what? So do I. Have a wonderful and wise Wednesday. Stay blessed.